Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your emotions took over? Maybe it was during an argument with a colleague, a heated discussion with a loved one, or even while stuck in traffic. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and anger, frustration, or fear bubbles up uncontrollably. Suddenly, you're acting in ways you might regret later. These moments aren't rare. They happen to all of us. In fact, in our fast-paced, high-stress world, it often feels like we're bombarded with triggers that set off our emotional responses. It's easy to feel like our emotions are in the driver's seat, dictating our actions and reactions. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. Today, we're going to explore a powerful philosophy that has stood the test of time for over 2,000 years. A philosophy that can help you master your emotions and take control of your life. That philosophy is Stoicism. Before we dive into the how, let's take a moment to understand what Stoicism really is. Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC. It later flourished in Rome, where figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius became its most notable proponents. At its core, Stoicism is a philosophy of life designed to help people live in harmony with nature, reason, and virtue. The Stoics believed that happiness comes from living a life of virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They also believed that many of our emotional problems come from wanting to control what we can't control, or from failing to take charge of what we can. Now, why does this ancient philosophy matter today? Because Stoicism provides us with practical tools and mindsets that we can use to navigate the complexities of modern life with greater clarity, composure, and resilience. Understanding emotional mastery, the Stoic perspective. To master your emotions, Stoicism teaches us to first differentiate between what is within our control and what's not. This concept is foundational to Stoic thought and is the starting point for achieving emotional mastery. What's in our control? Our thoughts, judgments, beliefs, values, actions, and reactions. What's not in our control? External events, the opinions of others, the past, the future, and the actions of others. When you clearly identify what you can control and what you can't, you liberate yourself from unnecessary suffering. Imagine you're in a business meeting and a colleague criticizes your idea in front of everyone. You feel your blood boil, and your first instinct is to snap back. But pause. Ask yourself, is my colleague's opinion in my control? No. Is my reaction in my control? Absolutely. By focusing only on what you can control, your response, you stop being a slave to every emotional impulse and start taking conscious, deliberate actions. Let's explore some practical techniques derived from Stoic principles that you can use to master your emotions. Lesson 1. The pause and reflect technique. Finding power in the pause. Let's start with one of the simplest yet most profound techniques for mastering your emotions. The pause and reflect technique. This method is about harnessing the power of a momentary pause to control your emotional reactions instead of letting them control you. Think about the last time you felt an intense emotion, maybe anger, frustration, or even anxiety. It probably hit you like a wave, overwhelming your thoughts and compelling you to act impulsively. In these moments, our emotions often feel like an unstoppable force, pushing us to react in ways that may not align with our true values or intentions. The Stoics, however, believe that we have more control over these emotional waves than we think. They taught that between the event that triggers our emotions and our response to it, There exists a critical moment, a space, however small, where we have the opportunity to choose our reaction. This moment is what the Stoics emphasized, a chance to pause, reflect, and decide how to respond in a way that aligns with our values and goals. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who lived as a slave and later became one of the most influential Stoic teachers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom highlights the idea that external events, including those that trigger our emotions, are beyond our control. However, what is always within our control is how we choose to react to these events. Pausing is crucial because it allows us to interrupt the automatic emotional response cycle. In our modern, fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli, social media notifications, emails, news alerts, and daily pressures. These stimuli often provoke immediate emotional reactions. Without pausing, we tend to respond reflexively, acting out of habit rather than intention. The pause creates a mental buffer, allowing us to step back, assess the situation, and choose a more measured response. Practicing the pause and reflect technique is simple in theory, but requires conscious effort. Here's a step-by-step approach to integrating this practice into your daily life. Here's a step-by-step approach to integrating the pause and reflect practice into your daily life. First, recognize the trigger. Awareness is key. Notice when you start to feel overwhelmed by emotion. This could be physical signs like a racing heartbeat, clenched fists, or tense shoulders, or mental signs like racing thoughts or a sudden urge to lash out. Catching these signs early is crucial. Next, take a deep breath. When you notice the trigger, immediately take a deep breath. Deep breathing is a scientifically proven way to calm the nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, helping to counteract the fight-or-flight response triggered by intense emotions. Then count to 5. As you breathe, silently count to 5. This simple yet powerful tool shifts your focus from the emotional trigger to a neutral activity. It gives your mind a chance to cool down and resets your perspective. After that, ask reflective questions. Now that you've created a buffer between the trigger and your response, take a moment to ask yourself a few key questions. Is this worth my emotional energy? What is within my control in this situation? How would a Stoic respond? These questions help you move from a reactive state to a proactive one. Instead of letting emotions dictate your actions, you take charge and choose a response aligned with your principles. Finally, decide and act. After this brief pause and reflection, decide on the most rational and constructive way to respond. This might mean calmly stating your perspective, choosing to walk away, or even doing nothing at all if the situation doesn't warrant a response. The pause and reflect technique offers several benefits. It reduces stress by avoiding immediate reactions that escalate conflicts or stressful situations. It improves decision-making by allowing you to think more clearly and make decisions based on reason rather than emotion. It enhances emotional control through regular practice, helping you become more aware of your emotional triggers and responses. It strengthens relationships by fostering thoughtful responses rather than impulsive actions, leading to better communication and healthier interactions. Imagine you're at work and during a meeting, a colleague makes a critical remark about your latest project in front of everyone. Your initial reaction might be to defend yourself aggressively or to feel humiliated. In this situation, you could immediately apply the pause and reflect technique. First, you'd recognize your emotional response, maybe anger or embarrassment. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a deep breath and silently count to 5. Then you ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? Is it within my control to change my colleague's opinion at this moment? Realizing that the only thing you control is your response, you might choose to calmly address the criticism or decide to discuss it privately later. By using this technique, you prevent an emotional outburst that could damage your reputation or relationships. You maintain your composure and handle the situation with grace and professionalism. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to respond rather than react, leading to more positive outcomes. The real power of the pause and reflect technique lies in its regular practice. Start by applying it to small, everyday irritations, like being cut off in traffic or receiving a curt email. As you become more accustomed to pausing, you'll find it easier to apply this technique in more emotionally charged situations. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress or deny your emotions. It's about acknowledging them, giving yourself a moment to think, and then choosing the most rational and constructive response. With practice, you'll find that this small pause can make a big difference in how you navigate the challenges of daily life. By incorporating the pause and reflect technique, you take a crucial first step toward mastering your emotions the Stoic way. Lesson 2. Reframing your perspective, changing the lens through which you see the world. The second powerful Stoic technique for mastering your emotions is reframing your perspective. This technique is about changing the way you interpret events to help you gain control over your emotional responses. At its core, reframing is about recognizing that while we may not be able to control what happens to us, we can always control how we choose to perceive and interpret those events. The Stoics believed that the way we think about a situation often has more impact on our emotions than the situation itself. For example, imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. You might feel frustrated or angry, believing that this is a waste of your time. But if you choose to reframe this situation, viewing it as an opportunity to practice patience or listen to an interesting podcast, you can transform a stressful experience into a constructive one. One of the central ideas in Stoic philosophy is that it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, this principle is foundational to the practice of reframing. Events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation and judgments of those events that cause our emotional responses. When we learn to shift these interpretations, we gain the ability to change our emotional responses. Reframing allows us to see challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. It enables us to find calm in the face of adversity and maintain a sense of control over our emotions by adjusting the way we view the world around us. Reframing is a technique that requires both practice and awareness. Here's a step-by-step approach to start using this powerful Stoic tool in your daily life. First, identify the situation. Begin by pinpointing a specific event that is causing you emotional distress. It might be a challenging conversation with a coworker or a sudden personal setback. Be clear about the event and the emotion it triggers. Next, recognize your initial interpretation. Notice how you're currently viewing the situation. What story are you telling yourself? Are you seeing it as a personal failure, an injustice, or a threat? Understanding your initial interpretation is crucial because it often reveals the root of your emotional response. Then, challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself if there could be another way to view the situation. Are there alternative explanations for what happened? Is there a silver lining you might be missing? For example, if a friend's criticism hurts, consider if their feedback could actually be an opportunity for growth. After that, choose a new, constructive perspective. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or deceiving yourself, but rather finding a truthful yet constructive way of viewing the situation. Instead of seeing a traffic jam as a pointless delay, view it as a chance to practice mindfulness or enjoy some music. Instead of interpreting a failure as a sign of inadequacy, see it as valuable feedback for future success. Finally, reinforce the reframed perspective. Once you've chosen a new way of thinking, support it with positive self-talk or affirmations. Remind yourself of the benefits of this new perspective. For instance, tell yourself, "The setback is teaching me resilience," or "I can handle this." It's an opportunity to practice patience. Applying reframing to everyday life can be highly effective in various scenarios. For workplace conflicts, if you're in a disagreement with a colleague, you might initially see it as a personal attack, leading to defensiveness or anger. Reframe it as a challenge that can help you improve your communication skills or understand different viewpoints better. In personal setbacks, like failing to achieve a goal such as losing weight or getting a promotion, instead of viewing it as a total failure, try reframing it as feedback. This can signal a need to adjust your approach, turning a negative experience into a valuable learning opportunity. For daily frustrations, such as a slow internet connection or a rude customer service representative, view these annoyances as chances to practice patience, kindness, or resilience. Over time, this approach helps build a stronger, more resilient mindset. Reframing offers several benefits. It reduces negative emotions by shifting how you interpret events, lessening feelings of anger, frustration, or anxiety. It enhances resilience by helping you bounce back from setbacks and see them as part of your growth journey. It fosters a growth mindset, encouraging you to view challenges as opportunities for learning and self-improvement. It improves problem-solving by opening you up to more creative and effective solutions through different perspectives. To make reframing a habit, start by applying it to small, everyday situations. The next time something minor annoys you, pause and ask yourself, "How else can I view this situation?" Gradually, you'll find that you're naturally reframing more significant challenges as well. Remember, reframing isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing the most constructive way to view your circumstances. It's a shift from being a passive recipient of events to an active interpreter, finding meaning and growth in whatever life throws your way. By mastering the art of reframing, you begin to see the world through a Stoic lens, finding strength in adversity and tranquility in uncertainty. You take control of your emotional responses, not by denying reality, but by choosing a more empowering way to interpret it. Lesson 3. Practicing negative visualization, preparing for life's challenges. The third Stoic technique for mastering your emotions is practicing negative visualization. At first glance, this practice might seem counterintuitive. Why would anyone want to visualize negative scenarios? Isn't positive thinking supposed to be the key to happiness? While positive thinking has its place, the Stoics believed that visualizing potential setbacks could help build resilience, prepare the mind for adversity, and ultimately enhance appreciation for what you have. The philosophy behind negative visualization. Negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, literally premeditation of evils, is a Stoic exercise where you deliberately imagine the loss, setbacks, or difficulties you might face in the future. By contemplating these potential negative events, you prepare yourself emotionally to handle them with calmness and equanimity should they occur. The idea isn't to dwell in pessimism, but to inoculate yourself against life's inevitable challenges. According to Seneca, the man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive. Negative visualization reduces the shock factor of misfortune, allowing you to approach difficulties from a place of strength rather than fear or panic. Exploring the psychological benefits of negative visualization, modern psychology supports the Stoic idea that facing negative thoughts can build mental resilience. Negative visualization can offer several key advantages. First, it reduces anxiety and fear. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you become familiar with it. When you eventually encounter it in reality, it's less intimidating because your mind has already rehearsed how to cope. It also enhances gratitude. Visualizing the loss of things you value helps you appreciate them more. You learn to cherish your loved ones, your health, and your possessions, recognizing that they are not guaranteed. Additionally, it promotes emotional stability. Regularly reflecting on potential misfortunes trains your mind to stay steady in the face of adversity. You develop a sense of inner peace, knowing you've already prepared for the worst. To practice negative visualization effectively, start by finding a quiet moment. Set aside a few minutes each day in a distraction-free space, whether it's in the morning, during a lunch break, or before bed. Consistency is key. Focus on a specific area of your life. Choose something you deeply care about, your health, relationships, career, or a personal project. Imagine a potential negative event related to this area. For example, if you're focusing on your health, visualize what it would be like if you suddenly fell ill or suffered an injury. Contemplate the loss. Spend a few minutes considering the setback. Imagine the emotions that might arise: sadness, frustration, fear. Allow yourself to fully experience these feelings. This isn't about wallowing in misery, but familiarizing your mind with these possibilities so they are less frightening. Prepare a plan. Think about how you would handle this situation. What actions would you take? How would you cope emotionally? Planning your response in advance helps reduce the likelihood of being overwhelmed if the situation occurs. Finally, shift to gratitude. After visualizing the negative scenario, focus on what you currently appreciate. Reflect on the good fortune you enjoy and the things you often take for granted. This helps balance the exercise and leaves you with a sense of peace and appreciation. Applying negative visualization to everyday situations can be quite practical. For financial challenges, imagine losing a significant source of income. Consider how you would adjust your lifestyle, cut back on expenses, and find alternative income sources. This mental preparation can help you stay calm during economic downturns and take proactive measures. For relationship struggles, visualize a conflict with a close friend or family member. Think about how it would feel if the relationship was strained or lost. Consider how you would handle your emotions and the steps you could take to reconcile or find closure. This exercise can enhance your resilience to interpersonal conflicts and remind you to value your relationships while they are intact. When it comes to health setbacks, imagine facing a significant health challenge, such as a serious illness or injury. Think about how you would cope with physical limitations and what your recovery process might look like. Visualizing these scenarios helps prepare your mind to remain strong and adaptable in the face of health-related adversity. To integrate negative visualization into your routine, consider starting with a weekly practice. Set aside time each Sunday to reflect on potential challenges for the coming week or month. Gradually increase the frequency to a daily practice as you become more comfortable with the exercise. Remember, the goal is not to become obsessed with negative thinking, but to build mental fortitude. By visualizing potential setbacks, you train yourself to face life's challenges with calmness, preparedness, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. While it may seem counterintuitive, practicing negative visualization can be a powerful tool for emotional mastery. It helps you prepare for the inevitable challenges of life, reduces anxiety, and fosters a sense of gratitude for what you have now. When practiced regularly, it allows you to face adversity with grace and composure, knowing that you have already prepared for the worst. Ultimately, negative visualization is about reclaiming control over your emotional responses. Instead of living in fear of what might go wrong, you become the architect of your inner world, ready to meet whatever life throws your way with a steady, resilient mind. Lesson 4. Embracing discomfort, the Stoic path to inner strength. The fifth Stoic technique for mastering your emotions is embracing discomfort. At first glance, this might sound like an unpleasant idea. Who, in their right mind, would willingly seek discomfort? Isn't the goal to make life as comfortable as possible? For the Stoics, however, the idea of comfort was more than just a physical state. It was a test of character. They believed that seeking out discomfort intentionally was a way to cultivate resilience, inner strength, and self-discipline. The Stoics saw discomfort not as something to avoid, but as a valuable teacher. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." For the Stoics, comfort is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, comfort makes life easier and more pleasant. On the other hand, it can make us complacent, weak, and dependent. By embracing discomfort, we strengthen our capacity to handle whatever life throws at us. The philosophy is simple. When you choose to face discomfort voluntarily, you learn to manage your reactions to things beyond your control. It's a form of training, a way of flexing your emotional and mental muscles to make them stronger. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less you fear it. And when discomfort inevitably comes your way, as it always does, you are prepared to face it with calmness and grace. First, it builds resilience. By choosing to experience discomfort, you develop mental toughness. You prove to yourself that you can endure hardship, making you more resilient when faced with unforeseen challenges. Next, it increases self-discipline. Deliberately stepping outside your comfort zone requires self-control and determination. This practice enhances your ability to resist temptations and distractions, making it easier to stick to your goals. Embracing discomfort also reduces fear of the unknown. Regularly confronting discomfort helps lessen your fear of uncertainty. You begin to see that many of the things you fear aren't as frightening as you thought, leading to greater freedom and confidence. Additionally, it improves adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and being comfortable with discomfort makes you more adaptable to change. Instead of being thrown off balance by new circumstances, you remain steady and focused, able to navigate whatever comes your way. To start embracing discomfort in everyday life, consider these practical methods. Begin by practicing physical discomfort. Start with simple challenges like taking cold showers, exercising under difficult conditions, or fasting periodically. The goal is to safely challenge your body in uncomfortable ways. For example, cold showers might initially shock your system, but over time, you'll learn to remain calm and steady even as your body reacts. Next, face emotional discomfort. This involves tackling emotionally challenging situations such as public speaking, having difficult conversations, or confronting your fears. By deliberately placing yourself in these situations, you practice maintaining composure and calm, regardless of the emotions that arise. Cultivate mental discomfort by engaging in activities that stretch your mental limits. Learning a new language, solving complex puzzles, or tackling challenging projects can push your mind to work harder, building endurance for mental challenges. Another method is to practice voluntary deprivation. try giving up something you enjoy for a period, whether it's coffee, social media, or a favorite food. Stoics, like Musonius Rufus, practiced periods of deprivation to train their willpower and remind themselves of what they could live without. This helps cultivate gratitude for what you have and reinforces your ability to handle life even when it's less than ideal. Here are some examples of how to embrace discomfort daily. Commit to morning workouts even when you don't feel like it. The act of waking up early and pushing through physical strain builds both physical strength and mental fortitude. By consistently challenging your body, you also train your mind to overcome laziness and inertia. When faced with avoiding a difficult conversation, whether it's addressing a problem with a coworker or discussing sensitive issues with a loved one, remind yourself that facing discomfort head-on is part of the Stoic path. The more you practice this, the better you become at handling conflict with calmness and clarity. Consider a digital detox. Take a day off from all digital devices. While it may seem uncomfortable initially, it helps you reclaim your time and mental space, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. To make this practice effective, start by setting small, manageable goals for embracing discomfort. You might begin with a 30-second cold shower each morning, slowly extending the duration as you get used to it. Gradually introduce other discomforts, like skipping a meal or walking instead of driving short distances. The key is consistency. Over time, these small actions build a habit of resilience and discipline. Remember, embracing discomfort isn't about punishing yourself or proving something to others. It's about growth. It's about expanding your comfort zone, strengthening your character, and becoming more adaptable to whatever life brings. As you make this a regular practice, you'll find that the things that once seemed difficult or scary are now well within your grasp. The Stoic path is not an easy one, but it is a rewarding one. By intentionally embracing discomfort, you fortify your mind and spirit, preparing yourself for the uncertainties of life. You build confidence in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Ultimately, embracing discomfort is about gaining control over your mind and emotions, ensuring that you are not at the mercy of life's ups and downs, but are ready to face them with courage, strength, and grace. Here's the sixth technique, reflect and journal, expanded to approximately 700 words. This version dives deeper into the Stoic practice of self-reflection and journaling, explaining its importance, methods, and impact on emotional mastery. Lesson 5. Reflect and journal, the Stoic habit for emotional clarity. The sixth technique to help master your emotions, according to Stoic philosophy, is the practice of reflection and journaling. For the Stoics, self-examination was a fundamental exercise, something that they believed should be woven into the fabric of daily life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, is perhaps best known for his personal writings, known today as meditations. These were essentially his reflections, penned down as he navigated the complexities of leadership, personal growth, and the pursuit of virtue. Why did the Stoics place such high value on reflection? Because reflection offers us an opportunity to understand ourselves better. It helps us pause, step back from the whirlwind of daily life, and examine our thoughts, emotions, and actions with a critical yet compassionate eye. In a world where we are constantly moving, constantly doing, and often reacting without thought, reflection allows us to regain control over our minds and actions. Journaling in particular serves as a powerful tool for reflection. It's a space where we can articulate our thoughts and feelings without judgment. Through writing, we become aware of the patterns in our thinking, the habits that shape our actions, and the triggers that influence our emotions. This awareness is the first step to mastering our emotions. As the Stoics believed, once you understand the source of your emotions, you can start to manage them effectively. The benefits of reflection and journaling are numerous, especially when it comes to managing emotions. First, journaling improves self-awareness. Writing down your thoughts and feelings helps you become more attuned to what's happening inside your mind. You'll start to notice patterns, recurring fears, anxieties or frustrations, and begin to understand their root causes. Next, it promotes emotional regulation. Regular journaling provides a safe outlet for expressing emotions. Instead of bottling up anger or sadness, you can explore these feelings on paper, helping to process and release them in a healthy way. Journaling also encourages mindfulness. The act of reflection brings you into the present moment, helping you to focus on what's happening right now rather than getting caught up in worries about the past or future. It facilitates problem solving as well. When you encounter a challenge, journaling can help you clarify the problem and brainstorm solutions. It forces you to articulate your thoughts, which often leads to greater insight and understanding. Finally, it supports personal growth. Reflecting on your experiences helps you learn from them. You can celebrate your successes, identify areas for improvement, and set intentions for the future. To make the most out of this Stoic practice, here are a few methods to consider. Start with a daily review. At the end of each day, set aside a few minutes to reflect on the day's events. Ask yourself questions like, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? Did I let myself be controlled by anger, fear, or desire? This type of reflection helps you learn from your experiences and prepares you to handle similar situations better in the future. Morning intention setting is another effective method. Begin your day with intention-setting journaling. Marcus Aurelius often wrote down his thoughts first thing in the morning to remind himself of the Stoic principles he wanted to live by. Start with prompts like, what do I want to focus on today? How can I respond to challenges with patience and wisdom? By setting clear intentions, you prime your mind to stay focused on your values throughout the day. Regular emotional check-ins are important too. Write down your emotions when you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or angry. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What triggered this emotion? Is this within my control? This practice helps you understand your emotional triggers and whether they are within your sphere of control, a core Stoic concept. Incorporate gratitude journaling into your practice as well. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. The Stoics believed that practicing gratitude helps shift focus from what is lacking to what is already present and good in your life. This can cultivate a sense of contentment and peace, making you less susceptible to negative emotions. Let's consider a few practical examples of integrating reflection and journaling into your daily routine. End-of-day reflection can be done after dinner or before bed. Take 10 minutes to reflect on the events of the day. Did you handle a difficult conversation with a colleague calmly, or did you react impulsively? Did you stay true to your values, or were there moments when you felt swayed by external circumstances? Write down your reflections with the goal of learning and growing from each experience, not judging yourself harshly. Morning pages are another option. Set aside a few minutes each morning to write freely. This practice, known as morning pages, involves pouring out whatever is on your mind without filtering or editing. It helps clear mental clutter and sets a focused tone for the day ahead. Lastly, consider creating an emotion log. Track your moods throughout the day. When you notice a strong emotion, pause and jot it down. Note what caused it and how you responded. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns that help you understand your emotional landscape better. To gain the most from this practice, consistency is key. Start small. Commit to just 5 minutes of journaling each day. Choose a time that works best for you, whether it's first thing in the morning, during lunch, or before bed, and stick to it. As it becomes a habit, you can gradually increase the time and depth of your reflections. It's also helpful to keep a dedicated journal for this purpose, whether it's a notebook, a digital app, or even a simple document on your computer. Having a specific place to capture your thoughts can make the practice feel more intentional and focused. Reflection and journaling are not just about recording your thoughts. They are about cultivating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. This practice allows you to confront your emotions with clarity and calmness, rather than being swept away by them. As the Stoics believed, wisdom comes from knowing yourself, and journaling is a powerful way to achieve that knowledge. By regularly reflecting on your actions and emotions, you begin to see yourself more clearly, react more intentionally, and live more in alignment with your values. In a world full of distractions, this practice can be your anchor, grounding you in who you truly are and who you aspire to become. Modern psychology and neuroscience offer strong support for many Stoic techniques. For example, the concept of cognitive reframing is fundamental to cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, a highly effective method for managing anxiety, depression, and stress. CBT teaches people to change their thinking patterns, which aligns closely with Stoic principles. Scientific studies also highlight the benefits of practices such as deep breathing, gratitude journaling, and mental visualization. These activities have been shown to lower cortisol levels, reduce blood pressure, and improve emotional regulation. By engaging in Stoic practices, you are not just following an ancient philosophy. You're utilizing strategies that are scientifically validated to enhance your mental health and well-being. There are many real-life examples that demonstrate the power of Stoic resilience. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote about finding meaning in life even amidst the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he illustrates the Stoic idea that while we may not be able to control our circumstances, we always have the power to choose our response to them. James Stockdale, a U.S. Navy Vice Admiral, drew on Stoic principles to survive over 7 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. He credited his endurance to the teachings of Epictetus, particularly the idea of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. These stories exemplify how Stoicism can empower us to endure hardship and even thrive in the face of overwhelming adversity. Mastering your emotions does not mean suppressing or denying them. It involves recognizing emotions as natural signals from your body and mind, and then choosing how to respond to them. It is about understanding that while life will inevitably throw challenges your way, you have the power to decide how you will face them. By practicing Stoic principles, such as taking a pause before reacting, embracing adversity as an opportunity for growth, focusing on what you can control, and cultivating gratitude, you regain control over your emotions and, by extension, your life. Here is a challenge for you. Start small. Choose one Stoic practice to focus on this week. It might be pausing before you react to a situation or practicing negative visualization. Pay attention to the changes in your reactions, your mindset, and your overall peace of mind. Remember that emotional mastery is not achieved overnight. It is a continuous practice and a daily commitment. But with every step you take, you will find yourself feeling more grounded, more resilient, and more in control. As the Stoics remind us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Claim that power. Master your emotions. Begin living the life you truly want. Thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, keep moving forward with courage, wisdom, and grace.